So what I'd like to do is introduce our next speaker, Peter Burgess, if he's there. There he is, from Process Culture in the back corner. And he's going to be talking to the topic of how to create the ultimate inquiry management, qualification, and booking system. So let's get Peter on the call. You're there, Pete?
Indeed, I am. I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me. Fantastic. So yeah, my business is Process Culture. We're all about sales process excellence, which is, creating the best possible sales process for your business. There are a lot of blueprints, a lot of standard approaches. So this particular presentation, I'll be talking about a standard approach for managing inquiries, for qualification, and for booking appointments. So this is the how to create the ultimate inquiry management, qualification, and booking system presentation. The sales process, when I design sales processes for businesses, they're typically 7 or 8 different modules that I refer to. This particular presentation, we're talking about the prospecting module, which is leads and inquiries, and then the qualification module, which is kind of a fundamental part of the inquiry management process as well, and then appointments. So how do you actually go on to book appointments? So these modules, we've got other ones like proposals and quoting, agreements and payments, nurture, which is marketing and follow-up, and reporting and dashboards, but they're generally repeatable solutions, and a lot of the information inside these modules is of application to any business. Different to the concept of the module is a sales pipeline. So you might have come across the idea of a sales pipeline before, but there is quite a bit of alignment between a typical sales pipeline, where you take an opportunity, you qualify it, you book a meeting, a proposal is requested, you might negotiate about the proposal, and then you win or lose the proposal. So that's the sales pipeline. When I refer to a sales pipeline, that's what I'm talking about. So here's a question for you. A lot of us wouldn't know the answer to, which is, how many sales did you actually lose today? You probably don't know. So I've seen businesses with many, many inquiries that don't get handled, or inquiries that get handled 2 weeks later after the initial inquiry, proposals that don't get followed up. Lots of opportunities within the existing base of contacts and customers, which are being slipping through the cracks. So if you're not managing your inquiries in a structured way, if it's very ad hoc, if you're very slow to follow up, or you don't have a follow-up strategy, then a lot of sales opportunities just will not occur, will vaporize. Typical example, slow follow-up, literally conversion drops after the first 5 minutes after an initial inquiry. So if you don't follow up an inquiry for a few hours, the chance of converting that into an opportunity is significantly reduced over following up within the first 5 to 10 minutes. So it is really critical to follow up quickly. And so, a lot of businesses, they have manual processes, mistakes get made. There's so much opportunity that gets lost. And yet that business might be spending a fortune on Google Ads or a fortune on SEO, but they receive all these leads, but then the leads are not being properly managed. So rather than spending a fortune on SEO and Google Ads, it's probably a good idea to also focus on what you already have and make sure your systems for inquiry management are really, really tight, that you're following up all those leads and opportunities. So I kind of touched on this on the previous slide, but if you're slow to follow up, you'll lose opportunities to your competitor. A good example is an inquiry that comes in at 5 o'clock on a Friday. So if it comes into your inbox on a Friday at 5 o'clock, you don't see it until Monday, or you might not see it at all, because if your inbox is very active, that inquiry moves on to page 3, tab 3 in your inbox. So we need to have a system where every inquiry that comes in, you're aware of. So either it comes in as an email, you get a text message, you also have it logged in the CRM for follow-up. So we need to have those inquiries properly managed. We need to be able to track, so we can see every single inquiry that comes in, every single lead that comes in, and I'll tell you the difference there. And also make sure the right staff member is actually assigned, and that you're not wasting time with people who are not a serious prospect. So there's a lot of thought about inquiries and leads as to, are leads inquiries and vice versa. So what is an inquiry? I see an inquiry as a warm lead or even a hot lead. So a lead is basically an unqualified opportunity. We don't know whether that's going to turn into business. You have a feel if something's a hot lead, it's basically someone has been asking for help for a solution. They've been referred to you. That's probably a pretty hot lead. An inquiry, someone is actually contacting your business, they've written you a message, they want to know a bit more about your service. So I consider them to be either warm or hot leads. So basically that person has a reasonably high chance of becoming a customer or of purchasing your services. If someone has downloaded one of your ebooks or has downloaded and accessed some social media, filled in a quick questionnaire, they will probably be a fairly cold lead unless there's some buying intent. So when I talk about inquiries, I'm talking about fairly warm or hot leads, and that's why it's really critical to be very responsive to inquiries, because they can lead to business. So manage your inquiries. Firstly, you need to know your channels. So where do your inquiries come from? Are they coming from Facebook? Are they coming from on a web form? Are they via direct email? Are people phoning you? So just look at your business and figure out where are you getting all these inquiries from. The fortune really is in the follow-up. So make sure you've got a process in place for following up inquiries. So you get the inquiry that, the inquiry comes into your business. Do you have the right person dealing with those inquiries? Are you staying on top of the inquiry until it's resolved? And this is where I have 5 C's framework, which I'll show you in a minute. There's actually a framework around inquiry management that if you implement in your business, you'll drastically improve the way that you convert inquiries into new business. And key to all of this is to have a CRM, a single source of truth. So someplace in your business where all of those new opportunities or any inquiries that you're dealing with are logged. And then use automation. Don't rely upon human beings. Human beings are notoriously a bit flaky at times. So we need to have technology that basically makes sure that all of those inquiries are being followed up, that you're staying on top of new opportunities. And then measure and improve. Once you've got your process set up, see how it's going and make some adjustments, and then measure again and keep improving so that over time your process gets better and better. So I'm a bit partial to Labradors, but this is basically the dog is trying to say to you that I need help. So that's what your customers are hopefully saying when they first contact you. They need help, not as in I need treats, but I need some help with my problem. So where are your inquiries coming from? A web inquiry form is a great place to start. A lot of inquiries might not come directly through a web inquiry form, but it's always good to have a contact form on your website. Inquiries might just come through a direct phone call or even just a direct email to your business. Another place you can receive inquiries and just leads where someone jumps on a landing page, they download an ebook. Now, they're not specifically inquiring about a problem they've got, but you can design a landing page to address a particular problem and have a little form on there if someone wants to contact you directly to book a meeting with you. Then social media, Facebook messages, Insta and LinkedIn. I wasn't very good at following up on Facebook messages because I'm not a huge Facebook user. And so people would contact me on Facebook and I wouldn't get back to them very quickly. So I've actually put in place automations now that when you message me on Facebook, I will receive a text message and I'll receive an email. So I'm aware of your Facebook message. It's just tying all these lead sources together and tracking and measuring where all your where people contact you. So is it via your contact form? Is it directly via an email? When you receive a phone call, how do we actually record the phone call and log that information? And the fortune really is in the follow-up. It's amazing, the statistics. There are lots of statistics around this. This is one particular example, which is 58% of salespeople only call once. It's shockingly true. In fact, I would say quite often it's even 0. So there have been times when I've been at an event or I've been talking to a business and they don't follow up at all. So even though I express clear interest in their product or service, I don't receive a phone call. So I might say to someone, I'd love to talk to you about your coaching. And 2 days later, still no phone call. So a lot of salespeople will only call once or not at all. The thing is that 15% of salespeople will make 5 or more contacts, and 85% of sales will actually occur after the 5th contact. There's a lot of research around how many contacts you need to actually make with a customer in order to close a deal, and it tends to be somewhere between 7 and 20 contacts via email, via the phone, social media. It is really important that we have a strategy in place for contacting people on a regular basis and keeping in contact and keeping our business top of mind. And you can't really rely upon yourself to do that. I do have an analog diary, which I use at times, but really to rely upon an analog diary to keep on top of a base of hundreds of customers is not feasible. So you need a system in place. So around this process of managing inquiries, I have what I call the 5 C's framework. So if you have all these elements in place, you're much more likely to convert those inquiries that come into your business into real business. So firstly, we need a place to capture new inquiries. So we need a web form, or we need a form that's filled in when you answer an inquiry on the phone, or we need to make sure that those inquiries that come from Facebook Messenger or other sources, that they're all captured in one place and they're captured and they're properly processed. So we've captured the inquiry. Now what do we do with it? Now if it pops into our inbox and we do nothing with it, we might as well not bother. So the next stage is to confirm. So firstly, we need to confirm to the person that's inquired, we've got your inquiry. Now that confirmation needs to go out immediately. It's also a great opportunity for us to actually push them towards, we've received the inquiry. We say we're on to the inquiry. We can then maybe give them some value at this point, have a little video in the email embedded, or a link to a landing page so they can download some content, register with they can be added to our mailing list. But at least there's a feeling that this company cares. The worst scenario is when someone actually fills in your inquiry form, and they receive no feedback whatsoever. They've got no idea if anything's going to happen. And then communicate. So communicate is internal communication with your team. So making sure that people in your team know that there is a new inquiry and it's assigned to the right person. So one of the great features, a brand new feature that's just come out in the last few weeks, actually in Pipedrive CRM, is the lead assignment feature. So it's automatic lead assignment. So whenever a leader comes into the business, we've got rules around assignment based upon the type of lead that's coming into the business. So we can assign that to the right person and make sure that person is going to handle that particular potential opportunity. And then the next stage is to actually reach out. And this is, this sort of connects to Ashley's talk. One of the best ways to reach out is to pick up the phone. Now, it may be that your policy is to start with an email, to respond with an email, and you can add a brochure and send them information. That's always a good starting point. But also to have a contact point, say, look, within 2 days of this email, we'll give you a phone call. If you need more information, reach out to talk to us as well. So we get onto the phone, and then really critical stage is to convert. We're looking at actually converting this opportunity into business. So, and converting is about qualifying. We don't want to be talking to someone who is not a good fit for our business. So I use what's called the BANT model, the BANT model. So basically in the BANT model, we need to know, like, is there a business need? Does this person have authority? Is it timely? For some reason, I've forgotten the N anyway, but there's four parts to the actual model, and we are making sure that we're talking to really good opportunities who have buying power, who have a need that we can satisfy, and that they're a nice person that we want to work with, because not every person is going to be a good fit for our business. So once you've gone through that process of qualifying, you then have you want to book a meeting. Now we can play telephone tennis, and we can go backwards and forwards on the email, trying to find a perfect time to talk to someone. Is it Tuesday at 2 o'clock? Sorry, I've got to go and take my kids to this event. And eventually you land on a time, and then God forbid someone reschedules. So what I do instead is I use a booking system. We're all probably quite familiar with Calendly or Microsoft Bookings, or OneHub, for example, which I use. But to actually integrate that booking system with your CRM, so that anytime someone books, we've got a record of it in the CRM, we've got it integrated with our calendar, and we are actually, reminders are being sent out to ourselves and also to the participant about the upcoming event. One of the things I'm starting to do more and more is actually to have a qualification questionnaire in the process. So if you don't want to directly qualify them via the phone, you can actually qualify them when they go to book, or you can do it again. You can like back up. But basically, what you want to do is make sure that someone who's booked a meeting with you is properly qualified, that they are a good opportunity. And more now, I'm looking at scorecard marketing as well. So introducing a scorecard. So once someone has actually booked in with you, before the meeting occurs, it's a great thing in that confirmation of the booking to also send them a link to a scorecard to fill in. So I use a tool called Score App, which is quite clever. It's a pretty brilliant tool. So you basically create, let's say, a 10 to 20 questionnaire around the gaps in their process or the gaps in their business. Depends upon what your business is, but in my case, it's a questionnaire about their sales process. So, where are the gaps? Do you have a CRM? Do you have automation, etc.? So that by the time they sit down with me, I know where the gaps are in their process. I know what the issues are. For your business, you can come up with a set of questions so that when you actually have a meeting with someone, you're going to have a really informed discussion with them. So that's where scorecard marketing is really good as well. And then making sure that you're using the right technology for these qualification forms. So I use Jotform, but you can use Microsoft or Google Forms. There's a free ebook if you want to scan that QR code. I've spoken about the CRM, just a quick overview. It's a single source of truth in your business. Really important to have a place where you can track your deals, you can capture your communications. You've got reporting. Basically, you've got one place where all your leads and your prospects, all the deals you're working on, and all those communications that relate to those particular contacts and leads and opportunities are actually stored. And also automation. So the good CRM will have native support for automation, or you can use an external tool. But as much as possible, the CRM will just run the process, and all you have to do is make sure that you're allowing your customers to fill in information via forms or book meetings, and the CRM with automation can really support you in that. So automation is key. I'm a big advocate of automation. It's a large part of what I do. Make sure you map out your business process, then automate parts of it that are highly manual. Automate your emails and reminders. Have a standardized set of emails and that you use for communicating with customers. Pipedrive CRM is the CRM that I support. If you're interested, if you've got Salesforce or HubSpot, I can refer you to partners that I work with. For integration, I also use two tools, Zapier and Make.com, which you can have a look at. They're both great integration options. So you can take your CRM and a bunch of other tools, and you can connect them all into a completely automated workflow. And then finally, measure, improve, make sure you're understanding your numbers, understanding, what the situation is with leads, how many leads this quarter, how many deals, how many phone calls are we making, how many emails are we sending. Make sure you've got good visibility on the results, the activities and the results in your business. I'm sort of running out of time here, so I think I'm almost done with the slides. But these are the key stages of the work I do. So sales process design, where we map out and design the sales process. You don't build a house without a blueprint. And a CRM at the core of it, the single source of truth, putting in place automations, and then having reports and dashboards to give you the insights. And, big benefits to having automated processes and CRM, saving you time, saving you stress, where you are, and saving you money. So you spend more time on income generation and going out there and winning business. And this is a little quote I've got from my copywriter, and I love it. So let us show you how to overcome the overwhelm and turn your bulging customer list into a bucket of gold. Because that's what it really is. Your inquiries and all those opportunities there sitting in your CRM, they really are a bucket of gold. Now I'll just flick forward to the final screen. Any questions? And feel free to scan that QR code if you'd like to catch up with me. So really, I think in summary, it's really important that you have a process in place for managing inquiries, that you have a seamless booking process so you can actually book really well qualified prospects, so that you're having great conversations with the right people. And a lot of those conversations really need to be on the phone until you're sure that person is a good match. And in these days, we often have, I will basically go through, close a deal on the phone or via Zoom. So we don't even need to meet people if we're, distant geographically. But there is still a place for face-to-face, and there is still a place for using the phone. I think in this time of technology, we can use technology to streamline the process, to make our business as efficient as possible. But we still need that personal touch, and that's where the phone is so important. That's where meeting face-to-face via video or in person is so important. So that's me. Any questions, feel free to ask.
Fantastic.